Throughout the Cold War, national security was defined, principally by conservative people, as totally a military concept. Face the Russians, build more missiles, build more tanks, and so forth. It was a military idea. Well, the Soviet Union is gone, and 20 years now. And we are depending for our energy consumption 70% on imports, and 25% of that comes from the most unstable region in the world, the Persian Gulf. So you cannot talk about energy and not link it with the security of the country, economically, politically, militarily, every way. In '79, after the second oil embargo, you're all too young to remember this, but there were two oil embargoes, 77 and 79, or 76 and 79. Oil shot up. We had confrontations and shootings at gasoline stations, all the rest of it. Jimmy Carter, then president, in 1980, got someone to sponsor a measure in a package, an energy package, to deal with this problem. And one of the features was 10-cent tax on a gallon of gasoline. 10 cents. One time, 10 cents. 10 cents. 11 United States senators voted for it. I was one. I was the only one of the 11 facing re-election, 1980. And I was told if I cast that vote, forget about winning in Colorado. I cast the vote, and I won in Colorado. The next year, that's not about me, that's about you. That's about you. The next year, I introduced a measure in the Congress, after election, to tax imported oil $10 a barrel. If that had been adopted, the Treasury of the United States would have raised between $1 and $2 trillion. I was told if I ran for president, forget about it, because every home in New England, including, by the way, New Hampshire, is heated with imported oil. They burn oil to heat their homes, and the oil comes in from outside the country. I introduced the measure, I argued for it. When I campaigned in New Hampshire in '83 and '84, I was very direct about it, and I said why. And I'll tell you in a minute why I said why, but politically, I won every caucus and primary in New England. So don't tell me that you can't do what's right politically, and the American people won't understand that. And the reason why is simply this. People say we need an energy policy. We have one. We've had one for years, and I'll tell you what it is. It is the policy of the United States of America to import 25% of its imports from the Persian Gulf to fuel the most energy inefficient vehicles on Earth, and if that oil gets cut off, to sacrifice the lives of our sons and daughters to get the oil. That is the policy of the United States of America, and we have fought 2 wars because of that oil. And you can't tell me otherwise. Gulf War I and Gulf War II. So you can't separate energy from national security and the lives of Americans. I want to take it out of the abstract realm of economics. You know, what is a gallon of gasoline going to cost if you do this? What's it going to do? I want to focus on the imports, and it is 70%. Yes. But I have stood before the Denver Chamber of Commerce and business groups, and I make those business people think about the connection between 20-year-old Marines and the kind of cars they're driving. And that's the connection. And I don't know how else to do it. And I wish the president would do that. You've got to humanize it. And if you add up 1/3 to 40% of our entire defense budget of $700 billion is devoted to the protection of international oil supplies. We do that not only for ourselves, but for the Chinese, for the Japanese, for half of Europe, and a whole lot of other countries. You're paying for it. You're paying for it. United States Navy, Marines and Army scattered all over the Middle East, all kinds of political repercussions for that, including quite possibly 9/11. And that's our policy. So we've got to quit it. We've got to quit it. And it's, if no other reason, not just economics, it's immoral. It's an immoral policy.